Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pursuit 365 channel. I'm your host and founder, Shelly Lynn Hughes, and today we are interviewing the incredible, accomplished Marilyn Wilson. Marilyn is a freelance writer, published author, speaker, and poet with a passion for sharing her stories with others. Her career began in an unusual way when she answered a Craigslist ad for which she had no qualifications. Somehow she made the cut and quickly discovered a deep passion for hearing others share their unique stories. Over the next 17 years, she conducted over 200 interviews, was a co-owner of a magazine, and was published in others. In 2015, she launched her first book, Life Outside the Box, followed in 2018 by The Wisdom of Listening. She has been contributed to numerous collaborative books as well, including all four of our Pursuit 365 editions. And Marilyn has a third solo book in the works, which she is hoping to release in the late spring this year. Wow, Marilyn, welcome to our Pursuit 365 show. How are you doing today?
I am really overexcited, and I think this is amazing. I have books in the background too. Pursuit.
Yes. Oh, that's
Yes.
so exciting. Well, I'm excited to have you here for multiple reasons. One, you've been a member with us for, well, 4 years now. You've been part of our community. So thank you for that. To trust our community and be a part of it. It's very much appreciated. But then over the years, we've kind of known about each other before Pursuit 365 when I owned Fresh Magazine and you had your magazine. And I think people in the media, we just gravitate to each other. So it's going to
Yes.
be a great
I agree.
conversation. So a few questions for you today. Your career started in an unusual way and you went into it blind. If you could go back, what would you do differently? Like your Craigslist, what you told us about Craigslist, you went into it blindly. Like what would you do different this time around?
I look back on that, and I'm always surprised I didn't have a nervous breakdown. I grew up without a lot of confidence. I didn't have a lot of support around me because of that, and I saw something and I leapt blindly. And I don't regret the leap. I regret not taking a breath and maybe thinking about what it meant, or when the stress hit and when I was over my head, not looking for maybe a mentor within the community. Instead, I just kept swimming and swimming and stressing and not sleeping. And I learned. I got there. I got it done. But I think if I had just been able to focus in on help, instead, everybody in the community tried to help me. And you know what it's like when 50 voices are coming your way.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes they said things I knew, but I couldn't do. I had no more time. So I mean, a lot of times people call it a business coach, but I think I needed a mentor within the magazine community in particular, when I was running a magazine. Um, and I've done this over and over and over in my life. And looking back on that, if I could break that habit, if I could follow my heart and lead and know that I'm meant to do that, and then take steps to put it in a framework that would keep me from stressing, and be able to learn and get proper guidance, not just random advice.
That's what you would do differently.
Absolutely. The rest of it was a wild ride. I'm ADD. I love the adrenaline. The rest was a wild ride, but having that safety net was made it like 10 times harder than it had to be.
Mhm. But that being said, on the other side of it, I find sometimes when you just jump in and do,
Yeah.
and you're not listening to 100 different people telling you different things. Like I sometimes find that myself, yes, I love to, well, these days I have an older mentor and I have a younger mentor. So yeah, it's smart. Like these days you need to have both, being,
Yeah.
middle aged, you need to have both. So I just think sometimes it's great to jump in. So I feel for you that might have been not a terrible thing.
It definitely pushes you outside the box.
Hmm.
I worry about the toll stress took. I needed, whether it was advice or just de-stressing, how to keep myself calm and follow my instincts, maybe. Perhaps that's the
Hmm.
better way to look at it. Um, but stress can be a terrible thing and keep us from thinking creatively and doing. I there's nothing traditional about my career. I started it. I knew nothing about fashion, and I ended up writing in fashion. I got it through a Craigslist ad. I had no. I got A's in high school writing. Like I had no knowledge. I ended up running a magazine and being editor. I had no knowledge. I really wasn't even around people that had done that. So that does leave you open to creative ideas and creative directions. I did some things extremely well, but I do think stress can have a bad effect on your mind and body, and it can hold you back too. So it's the stress portion, I think, that I regret.
That you regret that side of it. Well, I will say you always do look fashionable whenever I see you.
I learned, I
You
learned, oh my
do.
goodness, I was so bad the first time I went to an event in a local designer's clothes that they called me up afterwards and asked if I could come in and practice with them because the pictures are so bad.
I doubt they were that bad.
They were bad. They even shot up my arm and saw my bra. Like
Oh,
it was
wow.
really
Okay.
bad. No, it's a learning
Okay.
process. If you put yourself in people's hand and immerse yourself in a community, you learn. And suddenly everybody thinks you're an expert. They don't real It's like the new artist award for somebody who's been in the industry 20 years.
Yes.
I always, when I dive in, I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to learn. I have my eyes open. I am listening. I am reading. I am looking. And I approach absolutely everything I do that way. I want to learn. I'm interested. Yeah.
And really, we're both not 20 years old anymore, but I love the
Oh,
fact that you are always learning and growing and
yeah.
trying new things. I mean, we're not going to get into a big discussion about it, but even your Instagram is just growing like crazy.
Yeah.
I will leave her Instagram channel down below, by the way. It's very fascinating, very interesting. But I love the fact that you're still growing, you're still learning, you're not just stopping. You didn't turn, 45 and like you're still
Yeah.
successful, and I love that. You inspire a lot of women and men, or just humans,
Yeah.
that it doesn't end at 40 or 50, right?
No, no, I will tell people I answered that Craigslist ad at 50. I launched my first book at 60. So I'm giving you some framework there. And I don't like to talk numbers simply because people make assumptions.
No, that's why
I'm
we're not
okay if
talking
I'm
about
talking to you
it.
face to face, telling you who I am, what I am, how old I am. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm very proud of it. At the same time, you have to let go of that number sometime because your body may age in ways that you can't control, but you have a great deal of control over whether you keep your curiosity in life. And that might not be writing, it might be anything, but this is a time of my life. I have the freedom. I am not bound by bringing a paycheck home. This is my free time. What do I want it to look like? And so I'm always asking people questions. I want to learn about this. I want to learn about that. I'm taking a poetry course. I'm struggling with it because it's way too literature. Um, but I'm always ready to learn something new because otherwise I am bored. Do you
Yeah,
want to be bored with life? Do you want to sit at home every day doing the same thing, not talking to people? Or do you want to be out feeling that energy?
that's my dog. Sorry. Shush. Go on.
No, that's it. It's a choice. And as you get older, that desire to be in calm and stay home can be a trap.
Yeah,
It
no, you
takes
don't.
me, I have to push it to get out sometimes. I really do. But when I'm out, I come home inspired. I have something fresh to talk about. I'm not telling the same old stories from 20 years ago about the time I jumped out of a plane. Hey, this is what I did this week. If you want to be relevant, you have to have new stories. You have to come to the table and bring something interesting. Watch the news, get out, take a class, talk to people in line at the bank, whatever. It doesn't take a lot of money or effort to stay relevant.
No, it doesn't at all. Well, you're doing an incredible job with that. Like I said, your Instagram's just going like mad. Now, can you share, like, I know you've got a ton of passion for writing. You also have a ton of passion for inspiring others to write. So
Yeah,
tell me, can you share share about your passion for writing and how it still inspires you?
yeah. The best thing about passion is it leads you where you're supposed to be. Um, I never would have left at writing, but I've
Yeah.
always been curious about people. And as soon as I did my first interview, I had goosebumps. I have goosebumps right now sharing about it. It was such a profound moment in my life because something that defined me as nosy when I was young became an asset. The
Yeah.
fact that I loved this story, the fact that I loved hearing about their life opened up their world, and I sat there and I had to write, and that was not the fun part for me. Over the years, that shifted. I don't do many live interviews anymore. I do a lot more writing, but I found that going to the computer and pouring words to paper gives me joy. I also found it's about giving back what I received, because what I realized after the first 2 years of interviewing was I was being changed profoundly. People were sharing about their lives and my world was opening up. I didn't have to fit in that little box. I didn't have to follow that same path that every writer follows. I don't have to do that. The world is a wonderfully diverse place, and I can choose a wonderfully diverse life. And so my writing really shifted to become purposeful in that way. I still like sharing other people's stories, but sometimes email Q&A does that as good as anything. But when it comes to passing on their wisdom or wisdom from my journey, that really takes thought, and I love doing that. And then there's a shift that came after that. My passion expanded from self-acceptance, sharing people's interviewing, sharing people's stories, sharing people's wisdom, to trying to help a world in chaos understand the real beauty of diversity, instead of being afraid of it, what it offers to us. And right now, given everything going on, self-acceptance and acceptance of others, and immersing yourself in a world diverse enough that you fit and they fit in, really is becoming more of a point in my writing. So passion changes. Where will it be in 5 years? I'm not sure. It started with just hearing people tell their story. It moved on to writing. I've spoken a few times, short times, and that was a really interesting way. But passion grows. You start out with the spark of passion that leads you. Look at your journey. You were in magazines and now you've got this pursuit and it's expanding. All of a sudden, like an atomic bomb, it's expanding. So if I asked you your passion, if you look back, it's shifted, it's changed, it's grown, and it's become more mature. So passion for me started one where, and I just never know where it's going to lead next. It might lead me to stop writing and move into another form of expression. I have no idea. But I'm just here for the journey, and I'm ready to leap, and I say yes as long as I can. And when I can't, I'm sure I'll find another thing to stay relevant.
Yeah. Well, you stay relevant, but then also I love that we're similar in a way where, well, we're similar in many ways, but I love the fact that you just stay in your own lane.
Yeah,
You don't worry about what other people are doing,
no,
and you just do your own thing. And you're very respectful, you're very kind. Um, like you and I had a discussion just before we came on here, before we did the interview, just even about if we find that maybe some people that have been in our lives in the past, if they don't, their values aren't the same as ours anymore, and we just don't find
yeah,
that we mesh with them anymore. We've got no hate towards them. We just realize that we need to step away from them, but we do in a very respectful way.
yeah. It's
A lot
it's
of
not
people don't
easy.
do that.
It's not easy because it often has repercussions. They may not understand the need to step away. And I had a couple really bad experiences recently, in a couple years ago. And what I have come to understand is that if I am meant to step away, whether they feel it or agree with it, I'm opening a door for the next person to step into their life. As long as I'm there, it keeps them from finding that next mentor, from finding that next,
Sorry about that.
that's all right, from finding that next guide or support that's better suited to where they am at that point. It's not that either of you have done anything wrong or don't like it, but I've had friends that went out of my life and then 10 years later came back, and it's great. We just parted ways for a while, and it wasn't for badness or that we didn't like each other. It's just sometimes people um, have to focus. Like, right, I think I told you right now, in conversation with my one of my kids, I've started some counseling to deal with some things that I didn't even realize something was bubbling up, and they clarified it for me. And while I'm doing this, I pull back a lot. There's things I won't do. I see my closest friends, but right now this is growth time for me.
Yeah, well,
So
there's
it's
nothing
okay.
wrong with counseling. I think counseling is
Yeah.
fantastic.
My
Yeah,
first
there's
time.
nothing wrong with counseling. And but again, you just stay in your own lane and you just do
Yeah.
your own thing and you just continue to succeed and grow.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way to be.
I Again, that didn't happen overnight for me. I
Hmm.
was really intense. I was really insecure. When people didn't like me, it was hard. That's been a process over the last probably 15 years of coming to this place. And there's still times I mess up. So, but yeah, I just don't care what other people do. I just want to do what I'm doing, and I want them to have a good life and let me just have mine. And as long as we can live in respect like that, then anybody's welcome in my life. I
Well,
have great tolerance. I feel very uncomfortable when I'm in a one note community where everybody's agreeing and everybody's the same race and everybody's the same, has the same careers. And I like walking into the room with just a kaleidoscope. I just like my energy goes off the roots.
yeah,
It's
just
it's
super
it's it's
eclectic.
exciting.
Everyone's original. Yeah,
Yep.
everyone's just
And
themselves.
respectful.
And respectful, that's number one. Respectful. Like you can disagree with someone, but let's just be respectful about it.
When different people come together with respect and start sharing ideas, new ideas come out of it. You spark things in each other. It may not be a shared idea,
Yeah.
but they help you look through other eyes. They get you out of your rut, your daily rut, and they help you look at other eyes. I am always looking for somebody who thinks totally different than me. I don't
Yeah.
want to discuss topics that are hard. I just want to see through their eyes and
Mhm.
hear about their lives, and then go back and look at my life through that lens and see if there's anything that pops. And I find stuff sometimes.
So I hear you're working on your third book.
It's
Now tell us, well, okay, so what's it about? And
okay.
then also, when are you hoping to release it? Because I know that sometimes we come up with a date with the release. Oh my goodness. And we're like, well, we're going to get it done by then. But when is it set to release and what's it about?
um, the second book my first book was mini bios. My second book was the one that I began to realize the need to pass on the wisdom, and that was called The Life of Listening. And I was trying to figure out where to go. I had about 4 or 5 books, and one day I sat down and realized I wanted to continue um, passing on positive ideas. And I realized I'm a massive reader. I read over 100 books a year. And often there'd be a quote or something said in a book that sparked an idea. So this one is going to be called The Wisdom of Reading. And it's not a retelling of what's in the book. That is very disrespectful. What it is what is it about what I read or a quote in there that made me reflect on my life or taught me, opened my eyes about something. So the chapters are about that, and it's very in line with less of my story. Wisdom of Listening had a little more of my story in it, so I'm really excited. The editing process has ground to a halt because it was kind of November, December, Christmas. So I'm hoping this week to get the first edits back. So I'm hoping by late spring, early summer, because I still have to do work. I also have, in the meantime, I have on March 22nd, have a chapter in When Women Talks with the Connected Women, and I'm going to be in the upcoming 365 poetry book, and it's a chance to publish a poem, and I'm really excited about that. So there's just lots of exciting things coming up, and it's time for a new solo book, but between now and then there's lots of fun things happening, and opportunities for me coming up that it's hard not to be. This is going to be a good year. I
It's
just
going to
feel
be
like it's going to be a good year.
it's going to be an excellent year. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can feel that too. Yeah, so well, it's fun to do the co-author books because, like you said, it helps build community and you get your name out there and you get to do some marketing and it's just fun.
It's more than that. It breaks you. I've said this so many times and I have not been successful at it, but no matter what you do, if you have a product, you got to quit trying to sell it to your friends and family.
Yeah,
You know, your first book is great. Your family, your friends, your community comes together. They help you make it a success. But after that, you are not growing if you continue to rely on your friends and your community and your family to make your business a success. You have to break out of that shell. That's one of the reasons I've been in all the pursuit books. The first one, okay, I'm done. The second one, there was something about that, maybe men and women. The third was business and was going into the US. And the fourth one was international. All those were steps chosen. I chose to be a part because you were offering me an opportunity to break outside the bubble I'm in. And that's been a big focus, and that's going to be a big focus for me all year. How do you build a new community of readers who likes your book or people who want you to speak outside of the people that know you? If
Absolutely.
your real success comes from there.
Yeah. Well, and we're working on getting 5,000 new members over the next 6 months.
Wow.
And so I'm like, we even started just Canadian women, and then now we're in 16 countries now. So I'm like you, I want to keep growing our community and strengthening it. And with our members that have been involved from the very beginning, they're going to see the huge changes as well. Like, oh my goodness, we're reaching so many more people and sharing your words and your voice with them.
Yeah. No, it's great. I am really happy about it. I have to commend you because I think the way you conceived and built Pursuit 365, I can imagine 100 people who told you it was wrong. And
Oh
from
yeah.
day one, no, from day one, I went, that's it. I hope she sticks with it. That's it. I could feel it. And I was so glad you followed your instincts because you're building something differently and it is huge and it's going to continue to grow because it's accessible at
Thank
different
you.
levels. It's accessible.
I
And
just go with my gut. Like you, I just go with my gut. And like you, I just stay in my own lane.
yeah,
I don't really worry about what other people are doing.
yeah,
I like you. Like I said, we're very similar in that way,
yeah,
where I just stay in my, now don't get me wrong. I take advice from people. I will listen, and
yeah,
then I take it all in, I analyze, and then I decide if I'm going to take it or leave it. And I thank them for their advice. But
yeah,
uh, when I was younger, much like you again, you tend to not trust your instincts. And then
absolutely.
as you get older and you've got more experience, you trust your instincts and your gut. And that is how I've built Pursuit 365.
Yeah, well,
And really bringing people on like yourself that actually see my vision and that actually want to participate. You're only as strong as your community is.
yeah.
And so people like you have made the community strong.
I've been saying something recently to a few people and I want to say it to you. I'm Team Shelley.
Say that again.
I'm Team Shelley.
Mm.
I am Team Shelley. And so I've
Aw.
said it to a few people because I know they get pushed around a little bit. The world loves to give their opinion. I wrote a whole thing one time about mentors. The best ones give you the best of their knowledge. They help you see what they see, and
Yeah.
then they step away and let you find the right direction for you. But I am Team Shelley. I think you're
Oh, that
doing a
is
great
so
job.
kind of you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that more than you know.
Oh, good. We don't say it enough. We don't say good job. I come from the era where people gave you advice, which implies you're always doing it wrong. And to some degree, I did that to my kids. I mean, that generational curse. I did do it with my kids. They were being bullied, and I stepped in and I was pushing for them and stuff. And what I didn't do was teach them to hear their voice and think. So the best mentors and who I hope to be as much as I can is somebody who listens, gives feedbacks, then steps back and say, good for you, you got this. And good job. Just hear, you got this. Good job. I say that to young mothers all the time, and half the time they start crying. Why don't we say that to each other? Yeah. So
No, I don't
my little, my
understand.
little, my little soapbox.
No, but I don't understand it either. Like, I want to see everyone rise.
Yeah.
I want to see everyone rise. I want to see everyone have, sorry, my dog is here. I should have put him away. I usually put him away before these interviews, but he was so good. Do you want to meet Amigo?
Sure.
There, he really wants to say hi to everybody.
Hi, amigo.
Um, uh, I want to see everyone rise. I want to, the stronger men, women, non-binary, like everybody. Um, I don't get in the hate towards other people. other communities, especially right now that's going on in the world. Like I can't even believe the hate that is happening. I just can't understand it. So I know you're like me in that way.
No,
We
I get it. I get it sometimes. So I have been the focus of it. But all I can say is that, and I say this constantly, acceptance comes from inside.
hmm
And when I didn't accept myself, I was more intolerant of others.
hmm
So first you heal yourself, and then you offer that same acceptance that you want to receive to others. It's just respect. It's just respect, but the fear that drives this
Yeah.
is scary. It comes from a place of fear that they're going to be proved wrong, that they're not right. Everybody doesn't believe the same, so something's wrong. It's not wrong. It's joyful. It's a gift. And so yeah, that's kind of I feel my writing moving more and more in that direction, but it's also becoming more personal for me because if I'm struggling, I'm putting it out there. You're not alone. I put a thing out about the recent crisis, family crisis. I put it there, and taking responsibility for it. And that's not easy to do, but it's important. It's important.
It is.
So yeah, that passion is guiding me again. I quit saying 5 and 10 years now at my age. I say, what do I want the next year to look like? And the next year I would like to get out a book of poetry if I can. I'm not good at editing my poetry yet. I would like the one I have come, and I do have a little free ebook that's been sitting in the background that I haven't finished up that I can just offer to people. That's just kind of a compilation of some stuff from my blog. So there's a lot of goals, but I need something new, and I don't know what something new means. Just if it means a new experience, if it means trying something, a class, I'm not sure. But the older you get, the more you need something new. You need that stimulation of keeping your creativity and your desire open. And it doesn't happen laying around playing games on iPad and reading books.
No, it certainly
I
doesn't.
know that for a fact.
Well, you've been interviewing and writing for over 2 decades now, which is incredible. You've interviewed me, which two times I've been
Yeah,
interviewed,
yeah.
which we need to do an updated one 'cause lots changed. And then,
Anytime.
reflecting on this time, is there anything you'd like to share with the listeners? Like 2 decades is a long time.
It was so clear when I wrote that question, and we've mentioned some of that. Number one is never be afraid to leap, but you need to make sure it's coming from your heart. I have sometimes had somebody play with the mind, somebody with a good sales pitch, something, and by the end I'm going, yeah, 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 yeah. That's not hearing your heart.
Yeah.
If you're not sure if it's your heart or your mind, you need to take 24 hours and let the mind settle down so you can hear your heart, but never be afraid to leap. Um, I still stand by support of some kind. You don't want them to dim your flame. You don't want them to keep you from going in a creative direction, but perhaps just keeping you grounded with your feet on the ground saying you can do this. I really needed somebody outside my family that could make me feel confident enough. I lacked confidence and I did it all alone. And so I do think, I mean, maybe you're super confident and you got it, then don't worry. But if you are really struggling in the deep end, figuring out what support you need. And don't be afraid to change directions. Like at first all I did was face-to-face interviews. Then COVID it went to online and I've moved to books and I've like I am always changing directions. And if I decide to quit writing tomorrow, I do it without apology. It's because I know something else exciting is there. So just understand it's not a straight line. You don't head there. I'm a writer now and I'm going to do this and this. Those it's nice to have those ideas of places you'd like to get. But you have to always be ready for that shove in a new direction. Like when the magazine folded, oh my goodness, my first thing, I built it up. I put everything into it, all my branding. I didn't do any branding separate. And when my partner, I came to a crossroads we just couldn't move forward from, I think I was depressed for 6 months. I almost quit writing. I didn't think I could do it again. But that led me to books, and that led me to build my blog, which is more like a magazine style blog where I can promote people, I can put my thoughts, and it's just a mishmash of everything. So some of those hard moments have led me to where I was supposed to be next because I couldn't see it. So always, now I'm always open to that. I don't need something to slam me for me to go a new direction. I just need to hear the call and I'm ready to go,
Well, that's
whatever that is. And so just be open to changing directions. There is no failure in that. That's how growth happens and that's how creativity works, which is
absolutely.
even more important. You have to follow that creative nudge and go, oh, I mean, if you'd ever told me I'd be writing, I would owned a magazine, that I would have published books, that I would have spoken on stage, that I would have jumped out of a plane, that I would have, like, we can't imagine some of the wonderful things calling us. So we just have to trust our heart and get there. And so yeah, that's probably, I think those are the most important things I've learned.
You've learned that, and I love that.
Which do you love best? What would you say? Because you've been doing this a long time too.
Yeah, I've been in the media for, oh my gosh, 30 years,
Yeah,
32 years now.
looking
Um,
back.
don't be afraid to pivot because, I mean, let's just go back to even Blockbuster. If any of some of our listeners are not even know what Blockbuster is, but
Yep,
Blockbuster and, I remember going and getting the VHS tapes, going and getting them and bringing them home,
yep,
watching movies with the family, and you'd rent them and put them back. I mean, who would have thought, right?
yep,
Having a camera in our phone with any business, you have to pivot.
yeah.
Nothing stays the same, just like us as human beings. You've got to learn to pivot and change and learn and do things differently in order to succeed in life. I see so many people where they're just so stuck in their ways, whether it's in their business or their personal lives. Yeah, your marriage is
The rut can
working because
the
you're not
rut can, yeah.
changing.
Yeah, the
You're
rut
both
can
not
get
changing
deep.
together,
Yeah. The rut
right?
can get deep. There is a really good story, and I may not get it perfect, so please, it's my memory. It was in a book. The guy that created the BlackBerry was a brilliant. He was brilliant in high school, and he reached his peak when he put the BlackBerry out there and it took off in business and stuff. But after that, he wouldn't pivot.
There's your
And
problem.
and he had all the advice and all the team members and all the creativity and all the stuff, but he was stuck in that rut. It was perfect.
See, and
And
that's the problem.
there you go.
You cannot, even the phones have got, I mean, the phones do it because they want like to sell new phones, but well, they're selling new phones though. Like you have to pivot and change. And so
Yeah.
for me, being in the media, I've had to do that. I've also, when I had a magazine that was through the 3,000 spas and salons across Canada, I even had products of my own in those magazines because I was like, well, if I'm producing it anyways, I might as well have my own products to sell as well.
Hmm.
So there was, I wasn't just doing a magazine, I was selling products too. So you got to think outside the box and you got to pivot and don't be afraid to
Yeah.
change what you're doing.
And try it. If it doesn't work, you try something else. But sometimes we just can't conceive
Hmm.
where we need to be headed, and it takes a few changes of directions to get there. Sometimes we shift, sometimes it shuts down and we restart again.
Yeah.
I did dance costume for 5 years. It was hell. And I shut it down and writing opened up. Like it was a complete change. And it was a good change. Then the magazine folded and I ended up in books. And then what's next? I'm not sure. But so sometimes it's a complete out and sometimes it's just a shift in your direction. And both are okay. It's normal. It's acceptable. And instead of being upset and scared, get excited. What's ahead? It's got to be something good. If the universe has taken you in a new direction, it's got to be something good. It may be a challenge, but it's something good. And I'm grateful for those challenges. But yeah, the rut. I'm telling you, the older you get, the deeper the rut, and the resistance gets. And I fight that all the time. I'm starting
Yeah.
to do the 5 second countdown. There's a book about that.
Oh, it
Five,
was,
four, three, two, one, and you get up and do something.
I love that. That's
There's
so
a whole book about it, and it she just fell into it by accident. Created. I'll have to look up the person, but I think the 5 second book. I don't know, but it was mentioned somewhere, and I thought, oh yeah, right. And I was laying on the couch, and I needed to get the computer and do something. I went 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I stood up. so there, so there you go. I'm a
no,
five
that's
second
so
person
great.
now. If I'm really in inertia, I've got a tool.
There we
It
go.
sounds silly, but it works.
Sounds amazing. Well, Marilyn, it's been lovely chatting with you today,
Yes.
as usual. It's never a bad conversation with you. I'm going to be putting all your links. So if you want to go check out Marilyn's blog, our magazine, online magazine blog, if you want to go check out her other books, you want to get a hold of her, if you got any books that you want to send her, uh, her contact information is going to be below.
And a
And
bi-monthly newsletter. I'm
for the
I am just
bi-monthly
getting it out
newsletter.
so that people, it's only coming out every 2 months, so you won't get tons of mail from me, but you will find out about the books that are coming up, what's going on, including the Pursuit books. I cover everything I'm involved in, and some of the stuff I do in community, which is fashion weeks and stuff, just totally outside the box.
So good, so good. So we'll put all that information below and her Instagram or socials, and definitely check out what she's doing because lots of fun things. I definitely say follow your Instagram though.
This was great. This
So
was
good.
great. Thank
Okay,
you so
good.
much for this. I'm always so happy to have a conversation with you.
Likewise, my friend. Thank you so much. And everyone have a wonderful day.